What's up, Thrashers, and welcome back once again to the Thrash Maniac 99 YouTube channel, and I am back with yet another album review, and we got quite a few releases to cover this weekend, and I'm kicking off with one that kind of made me feel very nostalgic, and I am talking about the latest offering from Sevendust. 1. This came out on May 1st, this time on Napalm Records. Hard to believe this band has been going since 1994, and this is already their 15th studio full-length overall. Of course, I heard of this band back when I was a kid, courtesy of pro wrestling and other things, but I never really kept up with them over the years, and never really went back beyond, like, the album Seasons, which was 2003, so I was 9 years old at the time, really showing my age, huh? But yeah, I just never really went back or kept up with them. But through the means of like talking to other YouTubers on here about how much they love Sevendust, I thought, you know what? I saw they got a new album coming out. Let's get back into this band, and I am so glad that I did. So let's go ahead and talk about, well, for those who may not know, this is an Atlanta based, well, they started out as more of a new metal band. Now you could just call them alternative metal, and I think it's a lot more appropriate. But you could still arguably call them new metal too, because let's be real, when it comes to new metal, they're one of the better bands of that style. So, yeah, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But yeah, let's just go ahead and talk about the music on the album itself. So, kicking off with the title track, which is bold to do the title track as your opener, but it was an appropriate opener because after you get through like a moment of synths, heavy chugs, great grooves, and of course, an awesome chorus. Like, those are pretty much the main ingredients of the album, is basically having great drum grooves, heavy chugging guitars, and big time choruses courtesy of frontman Lejean Witherspoon. Like, Lejean has always been an awesome singer. Like, he can deliver chorus hooks like no one else. And I'll even give Morgan Rose's flowers too, because throughout this whole album, he's just pounding those drums with some great grooves, cool turnovers here and there, and as well as even doing some vocal moments here and there, and I'll touch on those when I get to those songs. But everybody else in the band, like, Clint, John, and I forget the other one, goes to show you how much I forget sometimes, all deliver in their own way. Like I said, like, most of these guitar moments are just, like, big, heavy chugging riffs, but with some, like, really cool progressions in the background, whether it be more melodic or doing some, like, cool, like, almost, I wanna say, tapping to kinda give it that, like, almost, dare I say, classical feel at times, not, like, in a shreddy sense, but just more or less adding, like, almost a classical inspired melody on top of heavy chugs when you get some of these progressions that come in. Like the second track, Unbreakable, that's really where you kind of get that, where you get heavy chugs, but on top of that, you get these cool, dare I say, almost legato melodies on top, just to, again, to add more dimension to the song. And really, that's what you get. Again, like, you get these heavy chugs, but you get some extra stuff going on, whether it be those progressions with the guitar, or even a bass groove, or just the drums just going all over the place, or just LeJohn just delivering awesome vocals on top of it. Um, Now, as far as like when it comes down to the vocals, like whenever they do shift, like the song "Is This the Real You," which I will say this song is probably one of the catchiest songs on the album. It's got, again, heavy chugging riffs, but there's some, like, dare I say, like a Volbeat boogie going on. Like, there's a little bit of boogie, but LeJohn's vocals get a little bit grittier, like he's getting a little snarlier in his delivery on this track on certain lines. Um, but yeah, and in terms of like cool bass grooves, like one of the big ones that stood out was in the track "We Won." Like, there's some pretty cool bass grooves going on there that just propels that song a little bit higher in terms of like favorites, because you also do get like tasteful synths and some chugs on top of like almost like strange guitar noises, which again just adds this like feeling of almost uncertainty. in the song, but yeah, like the first half of this album, like everything from the title track to the track We Won, and even throw in the track Threshold, which has some of the best melodies of the entire album. Yeah, it's like the first half of this album, it almost feels triumphant. It feels soaring. It feels more at heart, or like more deep into the heart. The second half, however, for the most part, gets darker and it gets heavier, like starting with Construct all the way through to at least the track Blood Price. The songs get heavier, they get darker, and they get a little more adventurous. Like Construct, the chugs get more vicious, but you also get some like pretty cool off time rhythms and like triplet swings. Kind of like if you took prog rock and mixed in just a hint of like a triplet swing, whether it be from like say Black Sabbath or even like Deep Purple, for example, but done by Sevendust. And then Brightside, you get like clean melodies to start off, but then you get darker melodies with heavy progressions, and it gets more bluesy. Like this is one of the more bluesy songs I've heard this band do, and of course the chugs get even heavier, and then the drop somehow gets even heavier and even darker, and it's got more venom and bite behind it. And then the track Blood Price, I will go ahead and say I think this one has a little bit of like a Meshuggah element to it. Like there's great syncopation, which there's awesome syncopation all throughout this album, but especially on Blood Price, it made me think of Meshuggah. But unlike say Periphery, which don't you worry, I'm gonna be reviewing them when that album drops. But this is how you do great like melodic vocals on top of a Meshuggah style moment. And Lejean and Morgan, and I'll go ahead and say with Morgan, there are 3 songs where Morgan showcases his vocals. Like Unbreakable, he gets a couple of lines and he also harmonizes, I think, with Lejean. Blood Price, he's doing like big growls and harsher vocals, which just come out right at you like it's out to beat you the hell up. And then the closer, Misdirection, which is the longest track of the album at over 5 minutes, and it's the closest thing to a ballad because you got synths and piano, it builds up nicely, and it's very melodic. You still get heavy chugs here and there, but I think it's mostly Morgan doing the vocals, and LeJohn comes in the chorus. But Morgan's got a good voice in his own right too, whether it be in the clean register or in the harsh vocals like in Blood Price. So, production wise, it's crisp, it's clean sounding, it makes everything stand out. I'm not sure who did the production because I couldn't find much information about this album because it's not up there yet. Um, but yeah, like everybody delivered on what they had to do, and of course, these choruses, I just kept writing down big chorus, sweet chorus over and over and over again because again, this band knows how to write chorus hooks like no other band. And it's like their choruses really stick with you. So when it comes to like writing down some great choruses, Sevendust is one of the best bands to do that. As far as any negatives go, I mean, it does hang on to a certain formula. It is a bit formulaic where it's just, heavy chugs with great drum grooves and a big chorus, but they nail that formula so damn well. So it's double-edged sword, I guess you could say. And I forgot to talk about lead work, which there are only 4 songs on here with a lead or a lead melody, and they were all really cool. And a couple tracks with breakdowns too, which showcase more diversity within the band. So overall, I'm actually gonna give this a 4 out of 5. I actually really, really enjoyed this one. And it's making me have the itch to go back to the old Sevendust stuff and even get some of their albums because I remember this band growing up, and like I said, I just didn't go back or keep up with them. But after listening to this album, I might as well go back and keep up now. But if you are a fan of Sevendust, you already are going to dig this. But for those who haven't jammed Sevendust in a long time, like myself, this is a good place to come back, I think. This is some pretty solid stuff right here. But of course, those are just my opinions. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. But until next time, thank you for watching. Keep your horns high and your dreams wet.